So. All right, so you ready? All right, I'm gonna call the regular meeting of the Borough Board to order at 7:15. And ask Brandon Demowski to do this in the pledge.
To the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the monthly reports of May. Each member received copies for review.
I second the motion.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Roger.
Opening comments here.
Okay, we have a very lengthy agenda tonight. And Jim Goggin has just arrived. So he's gonna now tell us when the tax bills are being mailed out.
All right, so we have it set, we got everything over to Quality, which is our data system and our printers. They're supposed to drop them in the mail on the 14th. If the drop dead when they go in the mail day happens on the 14th, then they'll be online on the 15th. So as soon as we have them available, but it looks like right now it'll be June 14th, which is one of the earlier ones in the state. A lot of people mailed that last week. Due July 1st, not later paid by August 1st. I have in my office, if anyone needs or any of your constituents call you, I have on my computer the current assessments with obviously the current mill rate. So I'm getting 10 calls a week on what are my taxes gonna be. And I have that for business personal property, your automobiles, and your house. So if somebody needs to know something, we can definitely answer and give them answers to exactly what the tax bills are gonna be today. But I just don't have them in the mail. It comes out of my control, out of my hands, and delivered every last thing to them. So. Important.
Okay, thank you, Jim. All right, so we will now go directly to regular public comment for the Borough Board monthly meeting. Is there anyone in the audience or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment?
Hi, everyone. My name is Tina Royal. I'm the president of Naugatuck and the coordinator of the Naugatuck Community Emergency Response Team. I just wanted you to give you an update as to what the team has been doing. This past weekend, Naugatuck CERT put in 108 volunteer hours with 9 members. We are gearing up to start a CERT basic training class this fall to increase our membership. Currently, we have 24 members. We are working on collaboration with currently 15 CERT teams in the area to begin a forum of brainstorming information and ideas to increase our community's power and the networking that the community actually needs. We continue to work on a children's and teen program with local organizations within the borough. And the team is strengthening relationships with organizations within the borough. We are working for Naugatuck and for the community and neighbors that we have here.
Thank you for all you do.
You're very welcome.
We do have some proposed rules for the monitoring of the new fields by those 2 reservoirs that I will give to Fran to circulate with you for comment.
Perfect.
Okay,
We are ready for that.
all right. And for you trail people, we are about to acquire 3 pieces of open space from the Connecticut Water Company. And we're building and improving and building somewhat a trail network that connects Old Osborne Road to a trail that goes near the Mulberry Reservoir and then back down towards the Candy Reservoir. And they're both beautiful trails. There is another group in that neighborhood that helps monitor those trails. But I think getting your two groups together would probably be a good idea and, work on a townwide basis. And, they're all great volunteers, just like you. So, and it's, if you haven't been there, it's beautiful. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to add that in addition, of course, everybody knew update was Sunday and our volunteers were there. On Saturday, they went, we had a number of our volunteers go to shelter management training at Central Connecticut State University. And that will increase our readiness for disasters, so that if we do have to open up a shelter, we will have the people power needed to open that shelter and to manage it. And I appreciate the volunteer hours, as you heard, over 100 hours they put in just this weekend. So I appreciate that, and I thank them all for doing that.
Thank you. All right. Let's have a brief ambulance corps report from Kyle Kelly.
Good evening, everyone. I know you have a long meeting. Just highlight a couple things. We had a very active month this month with some actually very, very serious calls. I'd just like to recognize all of my providers that worked very, very well together, along with other services. The police department, the fire department, we all have a very, very good working relationship. I'm very proud of that. We have been working on some interoperability things and some other drills. We did a drill in Seymour last month, MCI mass drill. One thing to note, I'll let you guys go. We're at 4 ambulances right now. We are looking at possibly having to put one down due to some mechanical failure. But we're looking at it and working on it. Hopefully we can keep it around for a little while longer. And with that, I'll let you go. And actually, I will say, sorry, that we did celebrate EMS Week to recognize all of our providers in the middle of the month last month.
All right, any Burgess questions for Kyle?
Maybe one comment.
Okay, Rocky?
For the month of May, there were 45 calls in other towns that Naugatuck covered. That's crazy. But, and that just shows the need for more ambulances, that we have to have them. Because if we're covering 45 calls in a month in other towns that need help, we need help. We need the equipment to be able to do it. Just today, there were a number of calls in Seymour that the ambulance covered. So just, keep that in mind when the ambulance comes and says, we need another vehicle, or they're hiring more people, or putting on another paramedic to double shifts. It's necessary. It's absolutely necessary to save lives.
Thank you.
As Chief Kelly mentioned, last week was EMS week. And I'd like to thank all those that participated and supported our EMS workers and throughout the state, and the knowledge that we have the premier ambulance service in town now that we didn't have 3 years ago. And that all have to do with the crew that we have up there now. I mean, thank them for that. It's a week late, but thank you for delaying the EMS week. Thank you.
This one here tomorrow. Okay, gonna make a very brief update on downtown development. I'll start off by saying everything is on schedule. So everything we said last month remains true. The biggest development is that we have gone out to bid for the second half of the downtown development project. Now, remember that the infrastructure project, Church Street, Maple Street, is underway. So most of the trucks and vehicles and construction you see is related to that project. Tonight, we're gonna award a bid for the improvement of The old Water Street, which runs along the railroad tracks, Old Firehouse Road, Rubber Avenue as it adjoins the event center, and a new road that we're gonna construct from the new train station out to Old Firehouse Road, with amenities, and that will be, awarded tonight. That construction is scheduled to commence in the summer. I'm gonna say probably towards the end of July. And that'll be the next set of, construction equipment that we see downtown. The first project, you know, they start the stormwater aspect at the outlet, and they'll be working their way back down Church Street and Maple Street. That will be ongoing for quite a period of time. The two projects will be going simultaneously, and in essence, they're creating the infrastructure for the downtown development on parcel B. The train station project will be fully designed this summer. Will go out to bid in the fall, and that will commence construction in early 25. The downtown Penrose project on parcel B is also scheduled to start construction in early 25. The Naugatuck Event Center will parallel the construction of the new train platform and the new train station in 2025. Anyone who would like to see the plans, they're extensive, detailed, and interesting. You know, most people probably find the amenities most exciting. Guys like Vin Seifert want to see where all the pipes are and everything else, but the long and the short of it is all the water from the west side of Naugatuck that comes through the green and goes right through parcel B out to the river is being redirected. The existing problems that we have are being corrected, and we're preparing the way so we can develop the downtown properties. So we've made the decision, and Rubber Avenue is also underway. So we made the decision to do everything at once. So there's going to be a lot of construction for a year, and then it'll be due. You know, I guess we could have spread it out over 3 years, but you know, didn't make much sense. So we're doing it all together. All of our contractors are working with us to keep the roads open. Now, don't forget, if you're going downtown, we acquired a new municipal parking lot at 30 Church Street. It could be accessed from Rubber Avenue. So if you want to go downtown, let's say to the Loaded Goat, you could drive down Church Street on one lane, park in the new municipal lot. You could go down Old Firehouse Road and park and walk 50 yards, or you could come in from Rubber Avenue and park right behind a Loaded Goat. So it's easy to access all of the downtown businesses and avoid the construction. But there's a lot of construction and it's gonna continue for a year. So that's where we are. You know, we confront issues every day. We pick them off one at a time, but we're moving forward. I would also note for Mr. Seifert that Penrose has hired a different geotechnical engineer, and we're now doing the geotech work on phase 2, which is going to be the parcel closest to the Naugatuck Event Center. So we have to leave the middle of parcel B open as a laydown area for the Connecticut DOT. So we're going to the area closest to the event center for phase 2. And we're working on the funding for phase 2 right now. I should say Penrose is working on their funding. So there are some interesting challenges there with underground tunnels and things of that nature, but, we're working on it every day. So, we're on schedule and, going full speed ahead. Any Burgess questions? Okay. Wait. All right, at this time, we're gonna have a presentation from SBC Brewing Company. And, we're gonna bring them up here. Jim, you're gonna give them access to the screen. Right?
Okay.
And, I don't know if it'll take time to set up. If it does, you can set up, we'll do something else, but, they are interested in bringing a microbrewery restaurant to the Bank of America building. And, they are in the planning stages. They've done a lot of research and work. It's very exciting. And what they want to do tonight is present to us where they are now to make sure that, that we like the direction they're heading in. And then we will, as a group, decide, how we want to proceed. But at this time, why don't you gentlemen come up? Introduce yourselves and let's, coordinate with Jim and bring us up to speed. You want to the newspaper. Well,
We raised 15-6. 1,000, 1,000. Yeah, so. Let's go around this. You didn't have an agenda, huh?
Okay, no.
I do, right? For some reason.
That must be yours, because I wrote on mine.
You're right.
Happy there somewhere.
I didn't get up. I know they have. I know they
Nicely done.
Yes. So now. Oh, they don't say it. And so, sorry. There you go.
You turn off your
Yeah.
No, I guess, report with this.
Choose with it.
Yeah.
Choose with it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I-
You're allowed to get paper, but you just put it up in that share. Paper application. This to go right next. As long as that way. Sure. Right, they're hooked up.
Ah, see, there you go.
No samples tonight.
And Shark Tank. They did
Okay,
samples.
proceed.
I know, huh?
All right, let's go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Rakowski.
My name is Tommy Sanapetro. We're looking forward to tell you more about Sanapetro Brewing Company.
We've been working hard on repurposing, the goal to repurpose a historic building on 275 Church Street. We have been visiting this building for some time now. This image is just a proof of what the space can look like with a few things. One, the ability to have in-house beer brewed, and two, space available for patrons to come and enjoy. You can see the brew system on the left over there on this image, as well as the fermenters and tanks along the back wall and the bar and tables. Aside from the equipment that's in there, we've also looked into putting a set of stairs on the main level to go to the second level. You can see we have plans to build that secondary staircase for eventually use of small vents and post upstairs parties.
So a little bit more on who we are as individuals. As I mentioned before, my name is Tommy Sanapetro. I grew up in Townsend, Connecticut, and I'm proud to be Catholic with much love for all craft beer. I've been in the food industry for over 6 years, working as a line cook, running different food events and locations such as Quad's Amusement Park, Mohawk Mountain, and the Whiskey Kitchen over in Southington, Connecticut. I have a bachelor's degree of science focused on communications and management from a combination of Franciscan University in Ohio and Charter Oak State College. As time continued, I realized that my true passion was for brewing and working with craft beer. I love the story that beer tells, the ingredients that it's made with, and the millions of connections it's made in history. With that being said, I took a one-year program through Sacred Heart University to receive a brewing science certificate. We learned about all aspects of brewing and running a brewery by some of the greatest brewers and brewery owners in New England. I've been in the beer industry for over 4 years, working as a brand ambassador for Whalers Brewing Company, Shabine Brewing Company, and currently sales representative for the Connecticut Brewery Collective. My vast variety of experiences offered unique knowledge, incredible networking, and an amazing understanding of the marketing in Connecticut craft beer in the market. I intend to bring these advantages and skills with me as Chris and I take this journey to the town of Nautilus.
And as I mentioned before, I'm Chris Rakowski. I was born and raised on the south end of Waterbury. I moved to Watertown and grew up there. I've been in the brewing industry for a number of years now, and it's a true honor to be a part of it. In the industry, you get to meet quite a number of people. Very special, authentic, genuine humans, and built quite a large range of network. I've met farmers, freight companies, some state representatives, equipment manufacturers, plumbers, electricians, numerous of them, and the list keeps growing. Outside of brewing, I've worked in shipping and receiving. spent a number of years bartending at Country Club Waterbury, working various size and style events. I've also worked as a deli employee and currently am a direct support provider at the Autistic Rec Center in Waterbury. If you couldn't tell, I'm a people person, and one of my favorite ways to get to know someone is over a cold beer. One of those people we've been privileged to get to know actually is our head brewer, Alex Kennedy. Alex, we met in the Sacred Heart Brewing Science program, and he is a middle school science teacher, and as the brewing science program indicates, brewing beer is a science. Alex has worked alongside some of his friends in the industry that brew up in Vermont. He's been employed and stayed involved with the Two Roads Brewing Company, the host brewery for the Sacred Heart Brewing Science program. Alex makes a great product, and we've really enjoyed building the company with his involvement.
And now to meet our leadership team. So our leadership team includes lead accountant, my dad, Ken San Pietro, who handles the company's finances, local reporting. Our attorney, Chris's uncle, Mark Ianum, provides our legal counsel, lead builder, and wonderful friend, good friend with Mr. Mayor as well, John Sullivan from Sullivan Brothers Remodeling, to oversee the build out of the brewery and taproom facility. And our lead designer, my father-in-law, David Bernosi, creating interior and exterior design plans.
So we have a number of advisors, including our leadership team, that without we would not have been here today. Mike Teed is one of them. Mike was our teacher, and he teaches the business and management course for the brewing science program. He's also a co-owner of his own brewery, and he is a head representative at the CT Brewers Guild. His mentorship continues to help us grow and develop today. Marty Toma. Marty heads the food department at Quasi Amusement Park in Middlebury and Mohawk Mountain in Cornwall. He's had his hand in opening a number of kitchens, and he's had the pleasure and privilege of working beside Marty for a number of years. John Reed. John, he's been in the industry for over a decade, and he has built experience with all size breweries. John was our main professor in the course that we took, and he is currently the gentleman who basically runs Two Roads Brewing Company. He has recently taken on the position as academic advisor for the brewing science program for Sacred Heart. And that program continues to provide ample growth to the exploding industry of craft beer. With these advisors at our core, along with many other consultants, we have confidence that our success continues and is going to be able to accomplish these necessary steps in our plans.
So what is Santa Barbara Brewing? What is our mission? What is our concept? What makes us who we are? So Santa Barbara Brewing Company, in our mission and concept is to combine two of our most favorite things in life, our Christian values and world-class beer. We desire to unite Christians, families, and all craft beer lovers throughout the town of Naugatuck and one day throughout the entire nation. So a little bit more on our concept. So with our concept, we have a strategic advantage. So we aim to focus on multiple demographics. These include the Catholic Christian community, craft beer enthusiasts, and hardworking men and women of Naugatuck, Connecticut. So how do we take advantage of our concepts? Well, the advantage comes from the unique combination of naming beers, creating artwork, and hosting events relating to Christian themes and family values. These include saints, the seasons of the church, and concepts that relate to the town of Naugatuck. Hence the brewery name Santa Pietro Brewing Company. In Italian, Santa Pietro means Saint Peter. And as you can see in our logo, contains two keys, and within those keys in the bottom left contains a fish, a hop, and a cross. The keys represent Saint Peter holding the keys to heaven, with a hop, fish, and cross represent our combination of beer and faith. This logo represents our company very well. Our design and names will represent faith without shoving it in your face. This is a brewery for everyone. We make the statement very clear in our motto, brewing a universal drink inspired by a universal faith. In our future aim, we tend to reach restaurants, bars, liquor stores, and wedding venues across Connecticut, and then extend into neighboring states, placing Naugatuck, Connecticut on the map for some of the finest craft beer that Connecticut has to offer. We want people from all over America traveling to Naugatuck just to have a sip of beer brewed at Santa Petra Brewing Company. A little bit on our opportunity, so the problem and solution. So what we're gonna be covering is that we see the importance of family. The merging of our markets combined with world-class products will surely lead to a success. Chris and I have many relationships with an abundance of Catholic young adult groups and ministries throughout the state of Connecticut who have shown much interest and love for this concept already. For example, we are both a part of Crossroads for Christ, which is a massive young adult group with over 5 chapters across the state. I actually happen to currently run one of those chapters down the road in Watertown. We also have close relationships with the group called Young Catholic Professionals and the Knights of Columbus organization from all over the state. These people will definitely travel to Naugatuck to enjoy something special that they can't get anywhere else. This is where our idea stemmed from. Being a part of these organizations and realizing we all have the same love for beer and faith, we knew we could create something outstanding. We want to do something that nobody in Connecticut has ever done before. We offer something unique in the Connecticut beer market and truly remarkable to our community. So how will this look like in our solution? Well, we plan to be a welcoming brewery with tap room, which serves on-site craft beer, Connecticut-made wine and spirits, and offer a quick bite to eat. We invite everyone to enjoy the company of friends while enjoying a cold beer. We will embrace local church groups, ministries, town events, and be extremely involved in the Naugatuck community. Many brewery owners tend to stay very sheltered. We plan to put ourselves out there and get to know everyone. We want to host events, collaborate, and enjoy the beautiful things that this town has to offer. We will not only build a place like home, but we will bring the feeling of home everywhere that you go through our beer.
So this is a very fun concept, but how do we make this concept into beer? First, Naugatuck is very fond of its history and the impact of being a hub for our state. As Tommy mentioned, the opportunity of opening a brewery is quite beneficial. Beer has a deep history of impacting the economy, not to mention its contributions to technology and the global growth due to health benefits influencing diets starting from the earliest civilization, as well as the common patterns and roles beer has played in various religious backgrounds. You can't have beer without recognizing these 4 fundamentals of beeronomics: religion, economy, health, technology. We've been visiting and getting to know the Bank of America building for nearly 12 months now. The capabilities of this building are able to fill our startup goals and accommodate our uses. The location is directly impacted by its established economic platform. There are plenty of popular breweries in the surrounding area that have proven success for their towns. It's a fun and, one can claim, a divine coincidence that the building is located on 275 Church Street. And we can't think of a better place and a better address to open this goal of ours. The building covers the capabilities necessary to have a safe, functional brewery and tap room with room to grow, including options for small events hosted in the upper room and large events in future build-up. Now, it takes quite a bit to go from grain to glass, but those technologies are able to fit into this building. Those include, there's actually a good amount of equipment, and we've provided in this slide a bird's eye view from our equipment company of what it looks like if you were to walk into the building. First, starts with grain. You need to take the grain and be able to mill it to the size or crush it to the size needed for the recipe. For sugar extraction, which comes later. We would put the mill here in the available space. Next, it is sent to what's called the mash tun, or the mixing pot, where the water and the grain mixes together. The kettle, which is where product gets boiled. And then gets sent over to the fermenters, which go along the back wall of this main floor, right in front of where the vault is from the old bank conveyor. There are also bright tanks that are necessary for finishing the product. Without hot water, you can't have beer either. There's a hot liquor tank or hot water tank located in the top left corner of that image. Glycol systems for fermentation and the bright tank vessels keep the required temperature for the product as it's going through the process of fermentation. It also requires trench drains, which are illustrated by the pink L in this image. As far as cold storage goes, it is necessary for the product to keep its integrity. And the large equipment that is used uses some of that cold storage through glycol. And we have cold storage for some of the smaller materials that are required to be cold. Besides the brewing equipment, we would need an established equipment for tap room as well as the kitchen. Cold storage is needed for the tap lines to transport beer to the bar for serving. A point of sale system for exchange of goods and services. A bar necessary for service and sanitation to our customers. Seating sections and tables and chairs to accommodate customers. Our kitchen, our plan for the kitchen, includes quality functional basics with room to grow and expand its capabilities. We would begin with simplicity, prep station, design sink, designated sinks, cold and freezer storage, convection ovens, and essentially the essential safety equipment expected for the safe kitchen practices.
So which leads us to our marketing plan. Sustainable Brewing Company will adopt a plan known as the 7B approach to guide all of our operations. To the 7B approach, we have passion, product, place, promotion, people, process, and price. So passion is our driving force, which goes into every aspect of our company. Our product is driven by our passion to lead to world-class beer. We keep our values very close to us, and these values flow through our entire marketing process, offering you a quality beer at a reasonable price.
Now, you can't have this without paying for it. We do have a number of interested and exciting investors, and we will soon have a formal investment packet describing the opportunities and return on investments. There are a few state and national organizations that have also helped with the funding of our startup. We will provide proper licenses, permits to make sure we ensure the safety and prioritize the priority of our patrons. In addition, we have the plans for an exit off the back end of the building. In order to develop, grow, to be able to expand our business, we would put an emergency exit off the back end of the building to ensure that we have the proper coding, as was pointed out earlier, our doorway here. The staircase on the main floor, we look to add the secondary staircase going up to what would be our event space, starting off with smaller events and eventually being able to work up to larger event capabilities. We wanted to thank you for having us here today. A special thank you to Mayor Pete and all those that he has introduced us to. Without, we would not have gained all the information and assistance in this town, and some I see here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, just to start off with preliminary discussion, they're interested in leasing the building. With an option to purchase, with the understanding that the borough would retain, parking for, I'll say, borough needs in the downtown area. One of the main reasons we acquired this property is it's one of the few places downtown, especially on the northern side, where we have excess parking. So no matter what happens, the borough will retain excess parking. And we will be talking about this in executive session. But I think what I'd like to do is to maybe take a group of Burgesses to work with them, take it a little bit further, and then we can bring it back and, if we're interested, discuss a, lease negotiation. So, having said that, does anyone have any questions?
A quick statement, guys. First of all, I admire any entrepreneur who wants to invest in Naugatuck. You're entering a very competitive industry in the small brewing market here in New England. It takes a lot of guts to do that. And I'm glad you picked Naugatuck as your place to make that happen. We're able to make this happen. To have your name on a product, now think about it. In Naugatuck, at one time you could be anywhere and you could hold up an Almond Joy and say, this is made in Naugatuck. It'd really be cool that somewhere along the line, wherever you are in the state of Connecticut, say, here's a product of beer that's been made in Naugatuck. So it's rather exciting. I enjoyed your presentation. I admire your courage. Now looking forward to seeing what the future brings.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like a community volunteer.
Thank you.
Full disclosure, I'm not a beer drinker, but I do enjoy wine and cider.
Nobody's perfect.
Mayor, can I just make one comment?
Hold on, Brandon.
I've been not working, but I've been meeting with these guys for, for quite a few months now. And, under their marketing plan, the very first one, passion. I've never seen two young men have so much passion for what they do. And it's, when I walk away from meeting with them over there, I feel good. I feel uplifted. I feel like, yeah, these guys are gonna do it. No matter which end you're going, they're gonna do it. And, to see, you mentioned passion in your marketing plan. I mean, that's you, that's passion. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have that more of your packs.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, we still haven't had a beer.
Worries.
Let's go. Baby
We
stuff.
will,
Yeah,
we will now move along to here. Oh, there it is, but for the final mural design.
I love it.
She got the, check the bench here.
Evening,
Mayor, evening, Burgesses, Anthony Jones, 196 Field Street. And
Francis Santana, One New Street.
so just to follow up on our last meeting with you, at the last meeting, we took a look at the current iteration of the mural design and got some comments from the group. After that, we had a meeting of the mural subcommittee, the couple of Burgesses who were giving us some more input. We reviewed the design again and shared all the comments from last meeting with the artists who met with us during that time and solicited some more feedback and some discussions. And so just as a reminder, at the last meeting, the group rather, conditionally approved the last design, subject to some ongoing revisions that we wanted to see. And I just wanted to give you an update on where things stand now. I don't think we're 100%, we're still waiting on one thing, but we can go over some changes that were made so far. The thing that we're kind of waiting on at this point is A comment was made, the last time we looked at the mural last meeting, there was a representation of a Native American in the mural. And there was a consensus that that probably wasn't a smart way to do that. Because there was, yeah, we don't know how accurate that image was. It just felt it wasn't the right thing to do. So we reached out to the I keep forgetting the name, but it's the Native American Institute, yeah, in Washington. And we've been kind of going back and forth with them, trying to find someone who would help us discover some imagery that we could incorporate into the mural. That would be a nod to Native American history in this area, focused on the river and fishing. So I was able to make contact with somebody yesterday who was pulling together some imagery this week, and we should have something to look at in a few weeks that we can see how to incorporate into the mural. But with just kind of putting a pin in that little last component, let's take a look at what we have changed so far. So this is the current iteration we're talking about. I'll point out some of the, so just as a reminder, it's going to be a 2 panel. One's going to be on the left side of the retaining wall for the train trestle over here, and one's going to be on the right side. This would be the image on the left side as we're facing this direction going down. I would say in general, the panel on the right side, I think we were a little bit more positive about it last time, but we felt that there was a lot more work that needed to be done on the left side. To that end, there was this paintbrush that we felt was maybe a little too big and bold. There was an empty space in the middle of, okay, we're popping around. This is the previous design on the right side. We saw one of the comments on this was that this splash of yellow here, which is kind of carrying this theme of sepia over here into the kind of the present, this progression of history, the history of Naugatuck to the current present feature, not future, but the present. We have this splash of yellow here that was carrying over the bridge. We felt maybe it was obscuring the bridge, kind of making it difficult to see. So we passed that suggestion on to the artist. He has scaled that back in the new rendition. That was I'd say the main. Okay, well, let's just take this one here. So this is on the left side. The big comments, maybe there was a lot of comments surrounding the colors of the word Naugatuck, the paintbrush, how big it was, this empty space in the middle of the hearts that's formed out of the hands. And that the hands were maybe stretched out too far so you couldn't see them. So we've seen the artist has shrunken the heart that's made up of these different hands. So you have a better understanding that this is made up of hands from different groups of people, emphasizing that concept of sort of inclusion and, a multi-ethnic sort of positive message for the community. The Naugatuck we've adopted more garnet and gray, carried that into the paintbrush, shrunk the paintbrush down, and carried some of this music, the music bars through the heart. So it's no longer this big kind of gleaming yellow empty spot. That was, I think, the most dramatic. Yeah, and I hadn't realized it until looking at it now, but I guess that the artist felt that we could split the eagle from the other panel, this panel, move the salmon to the other
I
panel.
think that makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess it kind of does.
Because the river is in the other panel.
Right, yeah. So I think it's probably a pretty good step. Do we have, all right, so you go back one.
That would be design number 4. That has the.
Right. Yeah, edited design number 4 shows the fish now on the right panel.
Yeah.
We also see they pulled back that yellow, so you see a more
Yeah.
kind of representational view of the Widmore Bridge. And it's not obscured by that yellow, so it's a little more just straightforward. Anyway, that's,
Can I have a feedback for your artist, the music notes? The
yes.
stems on the wrong side of the notes.
Oh,
That's not correct.
kind of like.
That's not correct manuscript.
And how would you know?
I know, right?
Unless you're playing it backwards.
The stems, yeah, unless you're reading it from.
It's actually the Beatles' White Album.
Yeah. All of that,
You read that backwards.
You are the only one that would have caught
Oh,
that.
that's sorry.
No, thank you, because you're the only one in this room that would have caught it.
I would have got
Then it goes up.
I know it goes up, notice plenty,
Yeah.
plenty of people, that's right.
Thanks for
Exactly
starting. Good eye. Musician's eye open.
So,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
So are you
yes.
recommending a final design tonight?
I am not, I want to, I think we still want to get in a reference to Native American history here. And we're waiting on some imagery from the Native American Institute that hopefully we can incorporate this in some way. But I'd say we're 97%.
So you want to come back at the next meeting?
Yeah, we were hoping that we would hear back because we reached out a few weeks ago and we were going back and forth and then they met this morning and yesterday and they didn't provide it to them.
All right, and one important thing. Let's not forget that your team seemed to indicate that they had influence with Metro North with the train trestle. So if they're making progress, great. If they're not, we need to know. So we can find a way to shake them down and get that going. I mean, it's, we have to, the mural will look horrible if we don't deal with the trestle.
Right.
So you know if they're making progress?
The last time we heard was probably 2 weeks ago when the application was submitted and they were following up with DOT. Matt Conway from Rise Up has indicated that he has some behind the scene folks that are working on this. So we'll circle back with them so that we can have a more concrete answer for you.
I'm totally good with that. If they're not getting anywhere, you have to tell us. So.
Okay.
I just want to say that I think that, you know, we've had a couple meetings back and forth and I really appreciate the fact that you listened to some of the comments and the ideas that were presented to you and I think it was great when we switched the fish going upstream, which I think makes a lot more sense and drinking the heart and streaming the music notes, I thought was great too. And then you can really tell the bridge, you can really identify with the bridge now because the color was pulled back, so that was great. Thank you.
All right, so we'll put you on for next month. Nancy, make a note of that, please.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
All right, we will now go to the Naugatuck Historical Society.
Hi, Teresa.
Mayor, and members of the Board of Burgesses, thank you for giving me this time to talk to you about the Naugatuck History Museum. And thank you for your leadership. Your dedication to moving the town in a positive direction is appreciated. Without men and women like you who are willing to give your time and talents to this work, we would not be seeing many exciting developments in this town. So I sincerely thank all of you for what you do. For those of you here and at home who do not know me, I am Teresa Florish and I am the current president of the Naugatuck Historical Society. Our vice president is with me today and one of our board members as well. The Naugatuck Historical Society is an all-volunteer organization that operates the Naugatuck History Museum at the Tuttle House. Our mission is to keep the stories of Naugatuck alive and accessible to the public through exhibits, research, and presentations. In addition, we maintain and preserve collections for the purpose of inspiring a love of local history and contributing to civic pride. I know everyone may not have the background of the Naugatuck History Museum, so let me share that first. The Naugatuck History Museum is housed in the historic Bronson V. Tuttle House, which is on the National Register of Historic Places. It sits at one of the gateways to the downtown area at the end of Church and Meadow Streets across from the Senior Center. The house was built by Bronson V. Tuttle, who was partners with John Howard Whitmore and Malleable Iron, the industry that they both earned their fortunes in. Bronson started building the house in 1879 and he, his wife Mary Ann, and teenage son Howard moved into the house a few years later. It is one of the few remaining reminders of Naugatuck's 19th century industrial past and is a symbol of Naugatuck's Victorian era prosperity. When Mary Ann Tuttle died in 1928, her estate left the house to the town of Naugatuck to be used for educational purposes. It was a school from the 1930s through the 1960s and then became the central offices of the Board of Education until 2016. The society opened the Naugatuck History Museum in the house on December 10th, 2022. The Naugatuck Historical Society is extremely grateful to the town for allowing us to establish the Naugatuck History Museum in the Tuttle House. We realize how fortunate we are to be partnered with a town that values its history and wants to see it kept alive. As I said, the Tuttle House is one of the few surviving reminders of Naugatuck's 19th century industrial past, and it's a symbol of Naugatuck's Victorian era prosperity. Visitors to the museum are not only surprised at the rich industrial past of Naugatuck, but are amazed at the beauty of the house with its handcrafted woodwork, unique fireplaces, and ornate hardware. We are dedicated to working with the town to preserve the Tuttle House, one of the most valued artifacts of our rich history. The main exhibit at the museum tells the story of Naugatuck's rise from a small manufacturing village to a center of industrial might. The exhibit tells the story of invention and enterprise that created employment for many and great wealth for a few. In addition, we currently have supplemented that exhibit to include the rubber company factory exhibit featuring scaled models of the factory circa 1950s. If you have not visited the museum yet, we are open on Saturdays from 10 to 4. The Naugatuck Historical Society depends on membership dues, donations, and grants to operate the museum. Since opening in December of 2022, we have had over 1,200 visitors. We have many programs and events that are open to the public, and funding to renovate the Tuttle House and eventually open the museum was supported by the generous donations of our community members and local businesses to the Preserving the Past, Supporting the Future campaign in 2019, and a grant from Connecticut Humanities in 2022, which paid for the guest curator that designed the opening exhibit and some other related costs. Opening the museum was a great accomplishment for the society and enhanced our community by adding another aspect to the arts and humanities here in Naugatuck. When aspects of the arts and humanities such as the proposed mural we just heard about, the Arts Commission Summer Concert Series, and a museum are present in the community, it's more vibrant and therefore a more attractive place to visit, work, and live in. The arts and humanities also play a role in the economy of the community with the new train station and plans for mixed-use growth in the downtown area. Having a history museum right downtown in the historic district is a big plus. Although opening the museum has been a great accomplishment for the society, it is very clear to us that keeping it open is sure to be a challenge. The pandemic interfered with the opening of the museum and really impacted us. As I mentioned, the campaign to open the museum was in 2019, but we did not open until December 2022. Many of the volunteers who planned the campaign and opening of the museum fell out, and by the time the museum opened, there were only a handful of those volunteers left. Most of the current board of directors were not involved until after the pandemic, and most came on board in 2022 as volunteers interested in opening the museum, including myself and our vice president, Joe Haddon. Although we have increased membership somewhat, which is a great accomplishment, our volunteer base continues to be extremely thin. We recently worked with a consultant with the help of a strengthening nonprofits grant we received from Connecticut Community Foundation. This work provided the foundation for future strategic planning. However, it is clear from the consultant's final assessment report that the current organizational structure will not sustain the demands of operating the museum. The consultant recommended that we expand our board and committee structure so that responsibilities can be redistributed. However, if that requires many more volunteers willing to give their time and talents, We cannot follow through with his recommendations unless community leaders, business leaders, local professionals, and members of our community join our organization so that we can expand our board, increase the number of committees, and start a strategic planning process that will focus on future sustainability. The Naugatuck Historical Society is extremely proud that we have opened a beautiful museum that tells a wonderful story of our town's rich heritage of inventors, innovators, and dreamers. In addition, the opening of the Naugatuck History Museum has added an element of arts and culture to our community, which is something to celebrate. There is no doubt that the museum has a positive impact on the community as a whole. Community leaders and aspiring leaders rightly focus on the future of their organization and community. They understand the present challenges that must be addressed and overcome. What we in the Naugatuck Historical Society implore is that you at home, you in the audience, you here, really come together with us and support us. We are hoping that as you join us you will join us to keep the history and heritage of this community alive so that future generations can appreciate our historic roots. We really appreciate the partnership we have with the town and hope that as the leaders of the town, we can count on you to be advocates of our work and support us in any way you can. With community support, we can grow and strengthen in a way that will ensure that the museum remains a vibrant part of the community for many years to come. Thank you again for your time. If you're not a member, please consider joining. If you have not visited the museum, please take the time to do it. And if you have time and talents you would like to contribute, please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Anyone want to ask a question or comment?
To see a beer tasting event in your future.
We do too.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Rocky.
What? No.
Item 11.
What? Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt the following municipal resolution in support of the SHPO planning grant application Tuttle House as it read.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so this motion is in furtherance of the meeting we had with Chapo at the Tuttle House. So we are moving ahead with the planning grant application. We also today filed the building inspector, the fire marshal, and myself requests for modification at the state level so that we can proceed with, I'll say, getting up to the second floor and the issues we discussed at our last meeting. And it is the goal that the society and the town and the state will work together, and it may take several years, but to bring that building back to its original splendor with the outside porches. And, you know, that's really the only way to get a lot of help from the state. So, speaking for myself, and I think for everyone, we're all in, the building and the society and the future. And, on my end, I'm gonna do everything I can to expedite the construction project and the funding and, get up to the second floor, hopefully quickly, and then work with Chapo every year to get additional grants to finish the entire building. And then I think we all have to be advocates to get more members, more support, more help, more events. Synergies with other groups are great. Like, I think, you know, with the Arts Commission being there for summer concerts, and I think as downtown grows, there will be more and more usage of that site as a venue with the excess land there. It's so beautiful. So I think we're all moving in the same direction, and I think we all agree with Teresa and her request. And, we'll do whatever we can to help. Any thoughts or comments up here?
Mayor, I just want to reiterate saying that we're looking at the entirety of downtown. And the north end can't be neglected. And the idea of having a vibrant historical society, possibly a brewery, a production facility right there. That's what you need. That's your anchor for the north end. So I think this is definitely worthwhile and going in the right direction for town.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Rocky?
Roll call vote.
Okay. Where's the first?
Yes.
Dorothy,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Rocky,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Who?
Bob.
Bob.
Yes.
Good, right? So it's unanimous, roll call vote, and we will be submitting that application tomorrow. I just note that, we do have a town match. So the match will be coming from, working capital. If anyone wants to know. Okay, let's go to item 12.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt ordinance number 137, motorized recreational vehicles, hereby amending chapter 18, traffic and motor vehicles, section 18-1, 18-2, 18-137, and create a new article 7, motorized recreational vehicles, section 18-138 to 18-144 in chapter 18 of the Code of Ordinances of the Borough of Naugatuck, Connecticut, which reads as follows, as read.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any comments from the public to modify the wording?
Yes, you do.
Did you write them down?
I did write them down.
Can we see them?
Yes, you may.
Hope you can read my writing. All right, had a very short pencil. We'll just scrounge up in the audience. We're proposing item number 14, is that the only one? Yes. Right, now, there was something from
Yes.
attorney perspective.
Yeah.
That's it?
We have to end that whole.
What paragraph? Right, add the office there.
Yeah, there were a couple.
He has a engineer and realize that
Yeah.
there is.
And guess that, he's in that.
All right. I'm gonna ask, that we amend the motion to include two things. First of all, do you agree on the motion?
I agree to amend the motion.
Julie on the second, and on the amendment, we want to add two things. Number one, we want to include the definition of operate as recommended by Attorney Fitzpatrick, and I have the language here, which will be part of the modification. And secondly, we want to amend or add an Article 14 to section 18-138. And have it state, number 14, any vehicle used for maintenance or construction of trail systems on public property. So I guess my question is that part of number 12, or is that a separate 14?
Part of number 12 would be Mayor, and,
Well, hold on, Ben, what are you trying to say here?
Well, originally we thought it would be part of 12, but then we made it 14 for it to stand out.
Okay, I see it both here, so,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so the request is that we would add item 14. That would basically, take care of maintenance of, construction, maintenance systems on the trail.
Mayor, I think that 11 and 12 define that, but 14 more clearly defines it, if you will. So it doesn't hurt to have it in.
Right.
No, I mean, no.
Too much is always better than not enough.
Most of the time.
I'm good with that.
All right, so let's have an amended motion to include the definition of operator and to add item 14.
I amend my amended motion.
No, just you're amending your
I'm
motion
amending my motion
to include those two items.
to include those two items.
Second their motion.
All right, so we have a amended motion and an amended second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote. Kim,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
I should point out that Charles is bad, one bad oyster with their T-shirts was excellent at Duck's Day. You have to follow him.
No ATVs involved.
Good work. Right, you can play at the brewery. Yeah. Mike,
Yes.
Yes.
Julie, yes, Rocky.
Yes.
Fran.
Yes.
Dorothy.
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
All right, passes unanimously as amended. And it is, as soon as it's published in the paper, it's the law of the borough of Naugatuck. And Chief McAllister will take care of all violators.
Let it be written, so let it be done.
All right, next.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt ordinance number 138, delinquent motor vehicle taxes, section 17-4 to 17-5 in Article I. In general, chapter 17 taxation, hereby creating a new section, section 17-6 to 17-20, reserved of the Code of Ordinances of the Borough of North Connecticut, which reads as follows as in print.
Second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Jim, since you missed the public hearing, which we seem to garner together, okay, I don't know if you wanna add anything.
What this basically says is that we send out motor vehicle reminders to people. We send out motor vehicle reminders to people, they cost us thousands of dollars, usually around $6,000. But if we charge $2, we garnish about $8,000 or $9,000 just to those people who we're sending out reminders to. So if you haven't paid your taxes on time, it's gonna cost you $2 more in fee in your taxes to cover the cost to those people who pay their taxes on time.
The reminders are actually helpful to the public who may have a legitimate reason to
Correct.
forget it.
We had many come in and say, hey, thanks for the reminders all the time. Because they forget for one reason or another, especially at second half payment. So we'll send them twice a year.
Okay, any questions for Jim?
About how many do you send?
For motor vehicles. It'll be in the first half, it could be as many as 3,500. It's a lot, we collect 85% of our vehicle taxes, but we send out 32,000 bills between supplemental and regular cars, vehicle bills. It's more than that bills, because you're two halves.
So my question is, what happens if I've lost my job, I can't afford to pay the taxes, and I have some
You won't be able-
prospects in the future,
You won't be able to
I'm
re-register.
gonna pay the $2 and that I can't afford to pay because I can't afford to pay my taxes.
You won't be able to re-register your car, that's a Connecticut state law.
I understand that, but somebody who can't afford to pay these taxes or has a plan to pay the taxes. They're still gonna get charged $2 more.
Yes,
It's not a lot of money, but I'm talking about people that can't afford. it.
I understand exactly what it is, but yes. Yes. And many towns are $5. So I kept that, I thought, more than reasonable, to cover the cost of the reminders.
So I think every town has a certain cost of doing business. That not necessarily is reimbursable for the taxpayers.
Well, I think delinquency is a different issue.
Yeah.
And they have,
Doing business.
and once they're delinquent, they pay the penalty on top of that, once it's delinquent,
So if they have
not for
like
the
a
reminder.
payment plan set up.
We have payment plans, but we don't write down payment plans. You wanna have a payment plan, it's up to you to set up your own payment plan, pay what you can afford as you go.
So in
But
that
the
sense,
state
with
of-
the $2 fee, still, I think that's kind of what you were asking, right? So if someone set up an arrangement and they come in and they make $100 payment every month, are they still gonna get a reminder in the mail?
They'll get a
That's gonna
reminder,
cost
you'll get a
$2.
reminder in the mail. What'll happen is tax bills are gonna be late after August first.
Mhm.
So because it takes time to get out, it won't be September, it won't be September, it'll be the end of September. We'll send out a reminder with October interest. Once we have that reminder and we put them on the DMV system, so that they'll actually have almost 75 days, 15 days early to pay before they're put on the system. But once they're put on the motor vehicle system, in other words, added on that they are delinquent.
Yeah.
Then they can't re-register with motor vehicles, and yes, the reminder costs them $2.
Okay.
But once they're late, they're paying 18% annually anyway, they're getting punished.
I agree. I agree.
All right, any further questions? Kim,
Yes.
you're.
Oh, is that my vote? Yes.
Already said it.
Yes.
Yes, question mark?
I didn't hear the roll call part.
Getting punchy here.
Charles.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Rocky.
No,
Yes.
Fran. Dorothy.
Yes.
Megan.
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Okay. No law.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Fourteen. Oh, Crestwood Drive. So, well, so we're gonna present two motions for Crestwood Drive. One to levy the assessment, which is number 15, and number 16 is to sign an amended agreement with the water company that just incorporates the final numbers as opposed to the estimated numbers. So I guess we don't need 14, but we will proceed to 15.
motion of the Board of Maine Burgesses levy the assessment for the Crestwood Drive Water Main Project. The assessments are payable in annual installments for 20 years at 2% interest in accordance with the following.
Okay, do we have any questions or discussion on item 15? All right. I like it when you do that. Very gentle reminder of the virtue. Kim,
Yes.
Rocky,
Yes.
I mean, oh, okay,
Same, except right.
Charlie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
yes. Fran,
Yes.
Yes.
Dorothy, Megan,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Okay, so the Crestwood Drive assessment levy passes unanimously. Item 18,
16.
16.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to sign the First Amendment to the Crestwood Drive Water Main Project Service Agreement between the Connecticut Water Company and the Borough of Naugatuck.
Second motion.
Okay, so we've already signed an agreement with them. This only puts in the final numbers as per the presentation tonight. Any questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses adopt the following resolution for the Naugatuck Parcel B Phase 1 project as if read.
Second motion.
All right, so what this is, Penrose is requesting, funding from SIP. They do not have the ability legally to make the request, it has to be made, or let's just say it's, they wanna have a chance, it's better that it be made by, a municipality. So this is a request from the borough to the state to help Penrose by providing a SIF grant of $980,000. Question? All right, we will go to a roll call vote. Kim,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
yes, Rocky.
Yes.
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Dorothy, Megan,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
All right, passes unanimously.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to sign the fiscal year 24-25 Woodard and Curran professional service agreements for environmental services and groundwater extraction management at the former Lanxess facility in the amount of $414,500.
Second motion.
All right, and for the record, this motion should have stated the funding source, and it didn't. So, the funding source for this motion will be our WPCA account. And it will not impact the general fund. Questions? And again, what this is, it's at the Lanxess site. There's quite a bit of activity annually for monitoring groundwater extraction and things of that nature that will continue for the next 3 to 5 years as the property is developed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the bid for contract fiscal year 24-B094 for parcel AB Major Hub Development to Earthworks Excavating and Landscaping Incorporated, Oxford, Connecticut, in the amount of $6,603,289 plus contingencies, and authorize Mayor Hess to sign all necessary contracts and change orders subject to DECD and CHRO approval as recommended by Kleinfelder Northeast Incorporated and Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second motion.
okay, so just by way of background, this is the project I spoke about earlier. Water Street, Old Firehouse Road, the new road that we're gonna build from the train station to Old Firehouse Road, Rubber Avenue, and quite a few amenities, including an archway from the train station all the way up to Church Street, near Park Place. And benches and all the amenities that we looked at before. The funding will come in part mostly from the Connecticut Community Challenge Grant, with some of the money coming from our downtown tax incremental financing district. Just to bring everyone up to date on that, when we approved the project budget for downtown, our engineers, they always do an opinion of probable cost. You know, before you go out to bid, you want to know what your engineers think it's going to cost, so you can compare that to the bids that come in. And our engineers estimated that the probable cost would be $7,133,500. We had 4 bids. 3 of them came under. The low bid being, I'm gonna round them off, 6.6. From Earthworks, 6.7, from Richards, 7.1 from B&W, and one went over at 8.9 million. So the bids were, pretty consistent, pretty competitive. And I'll just say that we always do an evaluation of the bidder. When I say we, that's Jim Stewart, his team, Kleinfelder and their team. And they've determined that, the low bidder is qualified to do the work. And I'll let you expand on that if you want to.
Well, in addition, Earthworks is currently working with us on the Cherry Street project. And done a great job so far. So we're very confident.
Okay, so this is helpful in that, it's about 500,000, $500,000 less than what we anticipated, so this is good news for our budget. Questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to enter into an agreement with Kleinfeld and Northeast Rocky Hill, Connecticut for inspection and engineering services for the CCC grant.
Second motion.
Okay, so, this is, basically the inspection of the work that we just approved. Now, when we did our overall project budget, we estimated $1 million, for this task. And, we did change the scope of work a little bit, and we eliminated a few things, but, the price of, I should say the motion is remiss in not mentioning the price. So we're gonna have to include the price in the motion, right? Number 17 does not have a number in it. Right. Is that right?
17.
20.
I will amend my motion to include the amount of
$693,940.
Motion.
And we have a second to the amendment from Julie. And let me just say that 693 is 307,000 less than what we estimated. So this is another savings for the overall project. And I would like to add, subject to borough attorney approval, to go over the final agreement.
I will further amend the motion, subject to borough attorney approval.
Julie? All right, so we have a motion amended twice with the number 693,940, subject to approval of the borough attorney. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so what this means is that, this project, we will work on the contract documents, Jim. You think it takes, about 6 weeks to get the project underway?
I would think within the next 30 days, we should have signed documents and starting the construction phase with meetings and everything. So, yeah, they should be out there in 6 to 8 weeks, I would think, and see activity.
And what that means is that Church Street.
Stay away
Maple
from
Street.
downtown, is that what that means?
Oh, gosh, no.
Come at it from a different angle, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say in the earthworks contract, we will include the language as in Church and Maple to keep the roads open as much as
Well,
possible.
much of their work is gonna be in parcel A and B, taking down some pump stations.
Right,
On Firehouse Road, we've got a much wider road, so that's positive, so I don't think you'll see as much impact.
right. Much less impact.
Much less than.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to enter into an agreement with Lanxess to modify the purchase and sale agreement in the Naugatuck Industrial Park 3.
I second the motion.
Seems to have changed quite a bit.
No, well, okay, it's in your package, right?
Yeah.
It looks like it changed quite a bit. It's actually much more specific. And what we've done, is that, and I have a picture of it if you want to see it, but what we've done is on Elm Street, Lanxess is allowing us to cross their private driveway to gain access to one of the lots, which limits the amount of road we have to build. So that's a monetary savings for the borough. And what we've done and why it looks longer than before is we have very specifically defined the easements that are necessary to make sure that the two remaining Lanxess buildings have utilities. And there are some nuances and complications because there's a major electric easement that services most of Naugatuck that comes through the property. So to avoid a lengthy process with Eversource of going under the easement, we have elected to go around the easement. So we redefine our easement to not cross Eversource and to go around it. And all the other items that are different specifically define the services that will be modified to accommodate Lanxess to make sure their two buildings retain all utilities. So it's longer in words, but the only thing that's really different is they're allowing us to cross their access way. And we are relocating the easements to avoid a lengthy procedure with Eversource.
So I have a question then.
Yes.
On number 5, it says the borough shall provide for electrical service.
Sure.
On number 7, it says the borough shall provide water service. Two different languages. Provide for electrical service tells me we'll run a line, you pay for it.
Well,
Number 7 shall provide water service,
So
we pay for it.
they already have electrical and water. Okay, so what we're doing is making sure that after we build our road and our project, that they will continue to have service. So it's not like we're bringing them water. They already have water.
Right.
We're just setting up the utilities so they work. And their buildings are served by utilities either on their land or in areas where we give them an easement. And conversely, where they allow us to go on their land to go around Eversource and to save time and money. So all of these changes are, I'm gonna say, more specific than we had before, not really different.
Just to
Oh,
me,
hold on, is that accurate, Jim?
Very accurate. I mean, there's areas where there's a lot of water, private water lines down there that have to be, it can't be used anymore because we're putting locks there. So we need to give them water, and we're running the water anyway because we need it in
No,
the subdivision.
I understand all that, I'm talking about the language.
Yeah.
Because it says shall provide for electrical service, and then it says shall provide water. To me, one says, we're gonna make sure you get electricity, the other one says, we're gonna pay for your water, we're gonna pay for your gas.
No,
Am I wrong?
we're not, we're assuring that they will have, that their building will have water and will have electricity.
Okay, as long as I'm wrong, that's what we're.
It was a very technical meeting.
Would it make any better sense to you, Rocky, if they just remove the word for, but it doesn't change the meaning?
So as long as they.
We're good.
As long as it doesn't.
By the way, just for the record, Lanxess is a very good company to work with. they're very cooperative, they're doing things to make it better for us, and we're helping out, it's a win-win situation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to procure a survey for 226 Rubber Avenue with All Seasons Land Surveying, Wallingford, Connecticut.
Second the motion.
And let's also add, in the amount of $2,600.
So amended.
Julie? Okay, so, we have the semblance of a survey, for 226 Rubber Ave, but it needs some, tightening up, especially in the area that we are retaining the parking lot that adjoins, where Blossoms is now. We want to make sure that line is correct because we're not showing the parking lot. So, it is not really a full survey, but it is a tightening up of the existing survey.
I'm just gonna mention what I've mentioned a number of times about that. We could just make that parking lot a space or 2 or 3 spaces bigger to the right, and that would help with parking.
Well, you can mention it, but that's not what the contract says.
I mentioned
I'll mention it again if you'd like, but mentioning doesn't go too far into the world of contracts, but, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgesses amend the peer review services agreement with SLR to include preparation of the project manual, incorporating the lump sum bid components for the Naugatuck Industrial Park Phase 3 road design in an amount not to exceed $8,000 as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second the motion.
Want me to say it?
Please, you're doing such a great job. I'm not coming back.
What are you moving in right along?
As soon as they're done.
So on the, Lanxess approval, so our subdivision was approved. We have plans, we're going out to bid. So, there are bid specs that have to be prepared, sure as you know, Mike. So when we go out to bid, we don't just give them a set of plans, we give them plans and specifications. And it costs $8,000 to prepare the specifications. At which time we turn the project over to a construction manager, O&G, and they've been very helpful to us throughout the entire process. And then they will take it through bidding and work with all of the contractors, ensuring that not only are things built properly, but that we remain in compliance with our soil management responsibilities, which complicate this project quite a bit. So, we have a good team in place, but we do need that to be done. And Jim determined that SLR was the best company, and we got a good price, and you're happy with it.
Very happy with that. That's, it seems like a very good price to me.
And we will be paying for this, out of our tax incremental financing funding. For the record. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgesses adopt the following municipal resolution in support of American Rescue Plan Act funding for Connecticut senior centers as it read.
Second the motion.
All right, so. I'm sure you recall that we received money from the federal government to upgrade the senior center. We're in the very, very early portions of that project. But in addition to that, there's a grant that is available to Naugatuck. And there's an allocation that we are in essence entitled to in the amount of $68,971 that we're gonna use in addition to the funding we received for the senior center. So it's a plus 68,971 for the project. Questions?
Are there any written plans or anything for how the second floor is gonna be used? You know, diagrams?
No, but where are
Sorry, I
we?
was reading, I think,
So.
The second floor of the senior
No,
center.
we haven't even started the design yet.
no, I mean, I think they want more exhibit space.
No, we're talking about the
Senior center.
senior center.
Yeah.
So the answer is we haven't hired a designer yet.
Okay, Jeremy, you know. These two guys are confusing me because I don't agree.
All right. So we're gonna do a roll call vote again. I'm gonna start with Bob Neff.
Yep.
That was a test to see if you're still up, okay.
I'm still here.
Megan's yes, Dorothy, Fran,
Yes.
Rocky.
Yes.
Yes, Julie, Mike,
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
all right, motion passes unanimously. 28, I appoint, the 5 members stated below to the Naugatuck Elderly Commission, including Tina Royal in the audience. Item 26, I reappoint the following members to the Naugatuck Elderly Commission, term to expire 6/1/2025 as if read. I'll just say it: Catherine Green, Stephen Zambrowski, Amber Burgesses, Jesselyn Pito, Ruth Kovac, Joe Badakari, Gretchen Carlson. I reappoint Stephanie Ganud Savoy as a regular member of the Police Commission, term to expire 6/1/2029.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Stephen Samella, 5 Bailey Road, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2027.
Second motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Nicole Hiscock, 171 Wisteria Drive, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2027.
Second motion.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Teresa Wasoka, 37 Phillips Drive, Naugatuck, as an alternate member of the Board of Finance, term to expire June 1st, 2027.
Second motion.
We have a second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Jeremy Lennon, 48 Michael Lane, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Golf Course Commission, term to expire June 1st, 2027.
Second motion.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the reappointment of Christopher Sheedy, 50 Debbie Lane, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Golf Course Commission, term to expire June 1st, 2027.
Second motion.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed?
Motion of the
Hold
Board.
on, hold on one second.
Let's talk quietly among yourselves.
You look like you're enjoying it every been there. It looks like you're enjoying it too much.
I've changed from straight iced tea to water with a touch of flavor in it. I'm
Gin, not a Long Island iced tea.
It's called gin for him, it's tequila. I know. You need to get up on the table with big shoes.
All right.
33.
We just looked at something. Right? So Allison,
Yes,
looks like we're approaching your territory here.
yes.
Um,
On board.
all right, so, let's go to 33.
Motion that the Board of Maine Merchants approve the following vendors to continue to provide goods indoor services fiscal year 2024, 2025, and to authorize the mayor has to execute all contracts and related documents as recommended by Controller Allison W. Bruce as a friend.
Second motion.
All right, are these just people we missed last time?
Correct.
All right, any questions on 33?
I'd like to add contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order received by the vendor.
Thank you.
No
That was
problem.
beautiful.
It's very nice.
Very.
Did you write it for him?
All right,
It's standard language that he's aware of.
all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the bids for contract fiscal year 25-B075 for purchase of tires and service to the following vendors as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart as at Fred. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order is received by the vendor.
Second motion.
All right, any question on 34? All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Motion that the Board of Maine and Burgesses approve the bids for contract year fiscal year 25-B076 for general construction equipment, roof repairs, labor, and material rates to the following vendors as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart, as a friend. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements, and the purchase order is received by the vendor.
Second motion.
I have a question. Do we have another item for roof repairs?
No.
So we have an approved vendor for roof repairs, right?
I don't have that. We have even to
Well, I would just note, we're working on some repairs with Diamond Roofing off of, I guess, last year's list. Is that still?
I can confirm for you if Diamond Roofing is still a good vendor. Is that what you want?
I'm just saying, I guess I'm asking, are they an approved vendor?
I have to confirm that for you.
I seem to remember they worked previously.
They were,
They have-
previous years they were.
Right.
They didn't respond to them with a bid this year.
Well, they're working for us right now.
Well, that's on the current fiscal year, so we have to confirm that they're listed
So I would
again
say,
for next year.
let's just pass this. They're working under the current fiscal year and check to see if they want to be an approved vendor.
We can just add it with another motion.
What?
We can add it with another motion at the next meeting.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgesses approve the bids for fiscal year 25-B080 for hauling and recycling services to the following vendors as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart as a Fred. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order is received by the vendor.
Second motion.
All right. Anything we need to know about this, Allison?
Costs for this year are about, it's very similar to what last year, so we didn't see any large spikes and increases. in cost.
Typical fees, did it go sky high again?
Well, the tipping fees are different animal, but the bulk trash is the same as
Oh,
it was. The other items are basically the same.
All right, so Jim, this is all standard, everything's the
Yes.
same as usual? All right, any discussion? All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the bid for contract fiscal year 25-B081 for electrical, plumbing, and HVAC services to the following vendors as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart. As a Fred, contract shall commence on vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase order is received by the vendor.
Second the motion.
All right, how do we make out here?
These are typically handled on an individual basis. When we have a project, we'll call them and get quotes. So
Okay. Okay, any questions on 37? All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the bids for contract fiscal year 25-B085 for motor vehicle and equipment parts and repair to the following vendors as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase orders received by the vendor.
Second the motion.
All right. No, we haven't already done this previously, right?
no. No, the finance department phased it out, so they had two sets of bids, so they could go. I just want to say, Felix, the finance department did a great job helping us in putting this stuff together this year. Previous years, all the courts had to do all the bidding, and it was a lot of work, so having the finance department and Felix help us out and do all the legwork for us was great.
So, I thought that we regularly use Rich's over here.
Yeah.
We do, so they should be, again, that's another one that should be listed as a,
Right.
as a.
But I would just say we'll vote on it tonight. If
we'll-
you use him regularly, you should reach out and see if he wants to be involved.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the bid for contract fiscal year 25-B093 for a proposal for the purchase of fire hoses and related appliances to the following vendors as per bid as recommended by Assistant Fire Chief Walter Seaman. As Fred, contract shall commence upon vendor completing all borough requirements and the purchase orders received by the vendor.
Second the motion.
All right, questions, discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize the mayor has to execute all contracts and related documents for the purchase of 35,000 gallons of dyed ultra low sulfur diesel fuel for the time period September 1st, 2024 to August 31st, 2025. Excuse me. Did I miss something? I'm sorry, we skipped 40. I'll go back. Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses approve the bid for contract fiscal year 25-B096 for eviction services. Dave's Van and Storage Incorporated, Realty Drive, Cheshire, as per bid is recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart. Contract shall commence upon vendor completing all their requirements and the purchase order received by the vendor.
Second the motion.
We've got one bid, same company, same price.
Oh, okay. So that happened last year too. right?
Yep.
So we're happy,
Very. We'll have to hear from them.
all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Can I just read the second half since I already read the first half?
No.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents for the purchase of 35,000 gallons of dyed ultra low sulfur diesel fuel for the time period September 1st, 2024 to August 31st, 2025 for $2.9675 or less fixed prepaid per gallon, including taxes, to the total amount of $104,114.26 in fiscal year 2024, 2025 from East River Energy, Sound View Road, Guilford, Connecticut, as recommended by Controller Allison W. Bruce.
I would second the.
All right, Allison, we're gonna need a little bit of an explanation here.
So for items 41, 42, and 43, there are standard annual consortium bids or prices that we get from East River Energy. The quantities are determined based on our usage from the prior fiscal year for each of the three items. This one is the sulfur diesel fuel, and then the heating oil, and then the regular unleaded gas. Those are the 41, 42, and 43. So we ran through the consortium just like we do every year. And we locked down on the prices that were recommended at the lowest possible.
So let's go to that, right? So remember, there was a magic guy who always gave us good advice, was he involved?
Well, there was a person that retired, but we're still getting a team of people who are monitoring the prices as they're going along, and then they determine when the best time is to lock down, and these are the prices they locked down on for this coming year. Slightly higher than last year, but they're coming down a little lower, because of some of a little lesser usage.
So I guess, I mean, I'm good if you're recommending it. I always thought in the past there was a little more strategy involved, no?
There is, it's just not the same players as there was before.
What?
There isn't the same players, when there was a person who retired a little bit after Bob Butler
Did the other,
passed. But there's a new team,
are the other towns acting now as we are?
yes, and there are also Board of Educations that are also in the consortium group, so there's multiple entities.
Is our Board of Ed doing this?
Yes, they are,
That was my question.
yes.
So, I guess they do it without putting it on the agenda, I mean, they just do it in the business office.
I thought they put it on the.
Maybe it'll be in next week's agenda.
Yeah, I don't, I just,
Or I spoke with Bernice, she was putting it on the
okay,
agenda,
good,
so-
I just mean,
This month.
missing it, making a mistake could be costly, so.
So,
I would like to shout out to our former controller, Bob Butler, who is a master at this. And I don't know if it was skill, luck, or a combination, but he always came out ahead.
I love for the negotiation of it,
So I'm good, if you're recommending it, I'm good.
yes.
So this says including taxes, I'm assuming it's not sales tax, it's other taxes?
Yes, there's multiple taxes in it.
He used that and all that stuff. It's actually.
I think there's three of them.
We have to pay all those other ones.
Right, but we are exercising the prepaid, which is getting us the lowest price per gallon.
All right, any questions for Allison? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts related documents for the purchase of 7,500 gallons of number 2 heating oil for the time period September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025 for $2.959 or less, fixed prepaid per gallon including taxes, for the total amount of $22,261.45 in fiscal year 2024-25 from East River Energy, Guilford, Connecticut, as recommended by Controller Allison W. Bush.
Second motion.
All right. Anything you want to say, Allison, same discussion?
Yes, same discussion.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to execute all contracts and related documents for the purchase of 110,000 gallons of regular unleaded gasoline for the time period September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025 for $2.6800 or less, fixed prepaid per gallon, including taxes, for the total amount of $321,506.26 in fiscal year 2024-25 from East River Energy, Guilford, Connecticut, is recommended by Controller Allison W. Bruce.
The second motion.
All right, we have a second. Same discussion?
Second, first, second.
Allison,
Yes, sir. Same
anything
discussion.
different here?
No.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the board of remain purchases with the following list of uncollected taxes to be transferred to the suspense list in the amount of $449,027.24 effective June 30, 2024, as recommended by tax collector James Goggin as if read.
Wow.
So Jim, tell us what the suspense.
So we bill out $80 million in taxes, so just so you know, that's less than 1% of the taxes that weren't collected in 2019. At any rate, when they're on a suspense list, we won't actively pursue them for collection, but we can give it to a marshal or somebody else who can actively pursue them for collection. They're still collectible taxes. The auditors recommended that these are the years we go back to have a suspense list, and we have to put a suspense list every year by Connecticut general statutes.
So we can't charge them an extra $2 anymore.
No,
No, not these ones. Not these ones, because we're not gonna send, we will not send any more reminders or any notices on the 2019. When something's suspended, we won't actively from the tax office collect.
Right, but we could still collect.
Yes.
Or Marshall.
Yeah.
Well, or otherwise. Like if, by the way, on any of these, if anyone looks at the list and sees something and says, oh, by the way. You know,
Second, so was
Feel
located.
free to knock on somebody's door, but what it says is I can't.
Yeah, get right out now. Hey, here's your bill.
we just take it off the suspense list.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Thumb breakers and.
All right, and Allison, the accountant, the auditor wants us to do this every
This is
year.
an annual requirement for the auditor.
Okay, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the board of remain purchases authorized control Allison W. Bruce to refund the following tax refunds approved by tax collector James Goggin as if read.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We will now go to public comment. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom who would like to make a public comment? No. Last call for public comment. All right, I'll start off. Good news is executive session will not be lengthy unless,
You never know.
unless any of you youngsters can keep up with me, I'm good all night. Not even warmed up yet.
It's only halfway through my night, so I have a couple hours left.
If the brewery show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we will go to comments. We're gonna start with Jim Stewart tonight. Jim, you're a guest commentator.
I'm ready for bed.
Thank you. How is your move coming?
I moved to the town hall.
Yeah,
He hasn't done
To your
anything.
My bed. I'm told that we're starting to work on the wall, and then once the wall electrical's done, it's gonna be fast towards
okay.
That's
So what's the projected date?
July 1.
All right.
Are you asking or telling?
That's it.
I'm kind of saying it that it comes.
I'm here to support you in any way you need.
All right,
Well, July, August 1.
all right, Megan.
Just two things, congratulating the track team on their dual championships. We also have a state champion in the 100-meter, Lauren Cropo, for the phenomenal performance. And my second thing is more of a question. Have we made any progress on the bullying committee that we discussed at the Board of Ed meeting?
I mean, first of all, it's not my committee, but I will be involved in it. But I have not been invited to a meeting, and I think that a reminder to superintendent is definitely made. So I would suggest that you make the reminder and copy me on it.
Absolutely.
I do understand that they just contracted with a consultant.
Yes.
And so that's what, what they were waiting to do, is they needed to get a consultant in place first, before they started assembling the committee.
Well, I still think.
But yeah, you're right.
Communication would be
Yeah,
good.
because I mentioned it the other day too to Marilyn, I'm like, let's not let this fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not, but I still think it's always good to keep.
Yeah, I mean, I had some contact from the family who was there, you know, that spoke and they had asked, because they haven't heard anything from anyone. And they did want to be involved, so.
I talked to Melissa Cooney and she was the one coordinating with them too.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Well, we had, PLTI graduation last Friday. So, new set of leaders, went through the course and program, and they have a lot of great ideas. So, you know, just look out into the future to see, if any of those come by your way. Stepping forth graduation or stepping forth ceremony is on the 6th at the high school, 6 p.m.
And the rain date is what?
Friday.
City Hill,
I saw two
City Hill's gonna be indoors.
Yeah,
Outdoors only,
indoors,
you're
yeah.
not gonna have a rain date.
So,
Okay.
so he changed the plan.
They changed it again, yeah, they changed the dates a couple times already.
So as of now, it's. the next day?
Now it's. And as of now, I think it's the next day inside, but earlier, and if it rains, then the high school.
Noggy's the 7th. City Hill is the 6th, it'll be rain or shine.
Oh, rain or shine outside? So.
No, they'll use the auditorium if it rains.
Yeah.
And they'll have it outside if it doesn't.
That's what we were told at the Board of Ed.
Yeah.
Chris's schedule for the week said it's the next day.
That'll be.
So originally it was for the 5th, next day was the rain day, then I found out last night that they changed it to the 6th.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah,
So
so it's saying rain or shine, it's gonna be that day.
And 6.
For City Hill.
City Hill.
High school.
This
is
Thursday
It's the 7th.
supposed to be
Rain
rain or
date is
shine.
Monday.
And then grad night is Friday night.
Charlie's in the know.
This is what they told us today, because a question did come up at school, they were asking about City Hill's graduation, at least, as some parents, I can make sure they do.
So I've heard 3 different.
Yeah, they might wanna get word out of the exact.
Yeah.
Well, I told them I was,
85% rain on
I told them I was coming. And that was all. They didn't say anything more other than I'll be there.
City Hill,
Yeah,
you got invited?
no, I just invited myself.
Okay, because we didn't get invited. You know
So
that.
feel free to call them up and say you're coming.
That's all right. I have Boy Scouts.
I'll be there.
So will I.
Where or when, but I'll be somewhere.
It'd be somewhere.
So will I.
And planning commission was last night. And they had another go around with the entity who wants to take up the space in the building where the St. Mary's is, right there. And they passed it back to zoning with a non-positive response.
Negative for sure.
Yes.
Okay, Fran,
First of all, I'd like to publicly thank Paul Russell for his close to 34 years of service.
Here.
Chief Russell could have asked for honesty and integrity in that office. Just hope that the department will continue on in that vein. Next, let's see, June 12th, we're going to have what's now called Emergency Planning and Preparedness Initiative, as we used to say, the old days of trip. And that drill is going to, the emphasis is going to be on election security, including the cyber part of it, Jim will be part of that. And registrar of voters will be involved in this exercise. Will be involved from 8 to noon. And what they normally do is reassemble, for example, here, all the Burgesses was all the key players for, in this case, an election. And shortly after 8 o'clock, the state will send us different scenarios that pop up in the course of the day. It could be, incident that happened at one of our polling places. It could be, a network error. It could be any possible thing that might come up. So this is the first time they've ever involved the concerned election process.
Yeah.
And I'm sure due to all the notoriety that's been going on with that community about that. In addition to the cyber attacks and so forth. So that'll be coming up. So Tina is here, she mentioned about CERT. We have a great group of volunteers, both at CERT and fire police, and they're starting to work together, have meetings together, and plan training together. And the 22nd of this month, they're gonna have a mutual meet and greet where two departments, two units are gonna come together for, pizza, soda, and whatever, and just talk and not have a formal meeting. And in the effort of working, productively together. And I appreciate that initiative by both Tina and Rudy from the fire police.
Right. And Tina is doing a great job.
She is doing a great job.
So
Thank you.
it's noted for the record.
And Paul was completely surprised by his party. Because someone was smart enough
Yes.
to cut the camera feed to his office and somebody distracted him.
Yeah, there you go.
It was very nice. The camera thing is coming along very slowly, but it's moving. I contacted 3 different companies, Health Pro, American Dynamics, and Vicon, who are all state approved contractors. And they've asked for more specifications on what our needs are. So I'm hoping that maybe in the next month, they can get some information on equipment and pricing.
Did you tell them the camera picture? We could see it.
Absolutely.
Any questions?
Absolutely.
Julie,
I was in touch with John Harris, and Griffin Hospital is putting the PCT program and the CNA program at the high school. They have 7 students registered for the PCT program. They're recruiting for their summer program, the CNA program, which will be mostly in the summer. Also going to be offering the CNA program in adult ed too, through Griffin. John thinks that they will get more at the high school with the next year, the year after that, only because it'll be a program in place and they can spend more time recruiting. Kim will talk more about the trades. Jim, I get a thing on, oh, you got it right up there. I want to give a shout out to Jeremy, Chris Montini.
Just say no.
Wait. Yeah, just say no. And facilities, Michael Bernardi, I believe is his name. Correct the right name? Okay. I asked them over here because this enters the auditorium and it also enters our adult ed program. It's not handicap accessible. So what happens is we have a student that received my husband's scholarship who comes in with a walker. She's an amazing woman. She had to park in front of the high school and come that way into here. So anybody in a wheelchair or a walker could access the auditorium or our adult ed program. They have a handicap drop off, which is ridiculous because if you're driving your own car, you can't.
You gotta drop yourself off, yeah.
So I contacted Jeremy and Chris Montini and the facilities, Michael Bernardi, and it's gonna happen in the summer, I believe, right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be ramped down with 2 handicap, we think 2 handicap parking spaces.
Yeah, we'll have to do start on self-restraint.
Okay, yeah, so it's free.
Good.
Yeah, we never thought about it until we had students and We have a guy that comes in from North Valley Community College and he's in a wheelchair and he has to park at the other end. Yeah. So it'll make it life a lot easier there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer. That's it for me.
Mike,
And no kind of man.
Charles,
Nothing new to offer today, we're all good.
Tired.
let's not stop, so tell us about your band, Charlie.
We had a great time playing in Duck Day, it was nice. We have a group of musicians I play with out of Fairfield County. Many of them had never been in the valley before. They totally loved Duck Day and were impressed with the town and everything and. Yeah, it's very good stuff, very, very
Yeah.
good. I had my son perform with us.
Yes, that's right.
One bed always.
In the morning.
One bad always spoils the batch.
Gives you a belly.
Yeah.
All right, Kim,
The trades kids are currently filling out applications and beginning the process for, to begin their apprenticeships. And, I don't have where they're going to be working yet. I'm following up with Yolanda on that. Because I wanna make sure that each of these kids wind up with an apprenticeship like they were told they were going to do. And then, they'll be ready when we start our development to, have those preferred slots and jobs that are going on. When we were talking tonight, I heard something that I hear frequently, from people in town, and that is, oh, one of the developers, in this project, I'm talking about Firehouse Road and stuff, they just walked away, this isn't happening. And I have said multiple times that absolutely isn't true. Please tell me where you heard it, because somebody really wants to make a negative impression about the development that's going on in this town. Now, I know there's always gonna be moaning and all that kind of stuff, and people aren't kind or nice or honest. But when I heard tonight that Burgess repeated that line at the meeting on Monday night, that annoyed me. When you've got a developer in town who's making money off our town and wanting to make more and says, and we don't even know that that's gonna happen across the street. I don't know what he knows and what he doesn't know, but it was an irresponsible comment and it's not true. And to the extent that we can, I think we all have to be on the same page with holding people accountable for the comments that they make that are not true. It happens in meetings all the time. And, maybe I'm naive, but I really think they should be held accountable. When you say something in a public meeting and it turns out not to be true, the next meeting, you ought to say it wasn't. Or somebody ought to say it for you. Because frankly, the discourse in this community is not always honest and it doesn't help us.
understood. If I could fix it, I would.
Well, I could certainly make it more uncomfortable because I'm more than happy to confront somebody that tells a lie in public. I really am, or repeats a rumor or.
I would,
It's bull.
all right, thank you for your comment, but that prompts me to bring something up so we don't forget.
Okay.
At the next zoning commission meeting, or soon, the Penrose architectural plan will be there. And I'm just gonna say that I like it, the Borough Board Committee likes it, the Borough Board likes it, the NEC likes it. But I think we should send some people there to say, you like it, or whatever you wanna say.
Charlie involved.
Yeah, so we're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob Nutt. Yes.
And then Julie, okay,
No, about that,
Bob Knapp,
he
yeah,
did ask me, talk
all right.
about it.
I think we did, he knows from,
No, public comment for Bob.
He's in this little box.
Or
As far as,
comment.
as far as Burgess
Box,
comments.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, Bob, who?
Bob, you have a comment?
I didn't see you there.
wow.
I'm good.
Okay,
All right.
He's in that little box.
How about UConn baseball, Bob? Come on, good stuff.
All right.
all right, so let's go to item 48.
Motion to recess to executive session at 9:30, 9:34 for discussion of the following: real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z. Novichok Industrial Park, Technical 3, lots 11 and 12, development agreements, lease of Bank of America building, and litigation.
Second motion.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We're done.
Yesterday was in Cal Bob. He gotta come tomorrow.
Jim, are we ready?
We are.
Recording in progress?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right, I will reconvene the meeting at 10:07. Coming out of executive session, I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into development agreements for industrial park section 3, one for lot 11 and one for lot 12, as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Wake up.
We have a motion and a second. And again, these agreements, like all agreements, will become public documents upon finalization. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hey, Bob,
Yep.
you have to sign the tax warrant. You're the only one.
Yeah, I know. I was just informed.
Motion to adjourn at 10:07 PM.
Good work. That was good. Good work.
Well, I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
We give Bob a shot. Get Jan.
I thought you were still talking to me.